guys, Happy New Year. This is a new one for my Bigtrak channel, because I'm a big fan. We got showing for you today 5 of the 8 versions of Bigtrak, and we're going to start coming through from left to right of the different ones. I just want to quickly rearrange them into order of age. I'm going to do a sat on the floor because it's going to make it a lot easier to demonstrate and show off the different versions if you're a collector. So I'm going to put the camera down on the floor and we're going to go through each one. Now here we have European version of the original Bigtrak. We put it to the side and we have the newer version there. I can bring the camera out a little bit. Now, not only is there a difference in the length of the wheelbase on the original, if I bring it over, you can see wheels are much closer together. So if you're unsure which one you got, the wheels are much closer together on the original Bigtrak as opposed to the Trak Bigtrak. You can see they're much further apart. You can get your finger in between. Also on the Bigtrak, there's a square in the side by here to put your badge, which is missing on the original Bigtrak. There's nothing there. Another one, if you want a quickie to tell which is which, you just open a port on top, and on the original Bigtrak you'll see the phono jack for your power out, which on the Bigtrak there's an LED out to activate the rocket system. So there's 2 different ports. So that's your main telltales on what's different. Also, the original Bigtrak is slightly shorter, fatter than the original. If you have a look at the nose head-on, you see the original Bigtrak here. I should have my tape measure. The nose comes in more on the new Bigtrak than the original Bigtrak. It's a slightly different nose profile on the original Bigtrak to the reproduction. So that's the first ones there. Obviously underneath then you got difference on the gearbox. The new version has completely flattened the floor. The original has the large gearbox, 4 D cell batteries in the bottom, whereas the new one has 3 D cells. The old one has a battery in the head, the new one doesn't. So that's your 2, what you call Generation 1, Generation 2 Bigtraks. On to the juniors then. This one is stripped ready for repair, but it's also handy as I can show you inside. This is a V2, a European spec, V2 American spec. This is a V3. Just dropped some coffee on you, didn't notice. Now the V2, the difference between the V1 and the V2 has a round profile wheel. If I bring it in, you can see here, has a round profile wheel. So what I'll do is I'll put a picture in here. You can see the V1, which is the ultra rare with a square profile wheel. Now for some reason on the V2s and the V1s they had this grey printed board on the back, unlike the originals which was a multicolour board. But what you've got extra on here, which you didn't have on the original Bigtraks, is the memory button. So you can store your programs in memory even when you've switched it off, switch it back on, you press memory and it'll rerun your last saved program, which is a nice feature which should have been on the original. This is the V3 version, which did have the colour board. The difference being is the V3 was made by Trak, and the V1 was subcontracted from Trak, and Trak subcontracted from Hasbro, which got the rights to Milton Bradley. Excuse me. So we take a quick look inside now of a V2. Which I already got stripped down. Now I stripped this because it wasn't working. Now I used to realise it was a couple of wires off. That one and this one. I got the 3 wires off and I got to resolder them. The board comes off easy enough. It's just a ribbon cable straight to one circuit board, and that's all's inside. And a twin motor system, which apart from scale is identical to the Xeontech Bigtrak. It doesn't have a gearbox system the same as a full-scale Bigtrak. It is gearboxes in here, reduction drives, with magnetic input as well. But it's a far more basic design. It's more accurately controlled than on the large Bigtraks, and much more simple to work on and operate. This was completely non-functional when I had it. The motors seized. I freed the motors up, they're now working. It's just now a matter of resoldering the wires. So I've got to get hold of a soldering iron to solder them. So let's put him to one side. So if we have a look at the V2, power button is underneath. It works exactly the same. So it works exactly the same as the standard Bigtrak. Now, with the V2 Bigtrak, there's only one version of this available, with a longer wheelbase, and that's it. Doesn't come in other colour options. It's white, European colours, and that's your lot. With the V1 original, there's 3 versions of this, one in the European white, American grey, and one has on the circuit board. It has on the control panel on the very early V1s as a in button here. So if you got an extremely early one, it will actually say V1 in here. So this is a Series 2 V1. Obviously this is from Spain, this particular one. Excellent condition, one owner from new, been boxed and never been sticked up, and according to him hasn't been played with for the last 30 years. So this is roughly now about 42 years old, being a V2 coming about 1980, 1981. So as we just come into 2023, this is about 41 years old. So the plastic's going to start getting a bit brittle. So if things did happen with this, I'd be hesitant to strip it. I'd probably keep this just as a showpiece, but she is still fully working. I'll just give you a quick demonstration. As you see now, what's happening here now, the left motor is stuck, so we're going to try that again. Forward, 1, back, 1, go. There you are. So you've got a problem with the drive on the left hand side. We now look at the original Bigtrak, the V2 introduction from 2010. much quicker in operation. Okay, we are back. Just went to have a little play with the solo. It was just a bit stiff from lack of use. So forward 1, back 1. Let's see if she checks now. Yeah. Here, forward 1, left 30. That's more like it. She's working like she should do now. Forward, so clear command, forward 1, left 20. For some reason the counter is not working quite as it should. I think this is because it's stiff from lack of use. Forward, clear, forward 1, left 25, forward 1, as you know, should be left 30 or right 30. But it seems on this floor seems to be like in 25, 26. Try to get one more time. Forward 2, left 26, forward 1, fire 3, go. That's better. So just a little bit stiff and needed playing with to loosen up the magnets inside. So if you got a problem with driving on one side, no need to strip it. Play with it for a little bit, warm it up. Because the magnets over time do demagnetize. Once you start using them, switching the pulses positive and negative inside on the magnets regenerates them and they start working again. You regain drive because it's a magnetic differential system inside. So if you're looking to collect Bigtraks on the V1, on the keyboard there will be an in button on the keyboard on the V1 generation 1. Generation 2, generation 3 afterwards, done away with the in key on the keypad. And I believe on the very final ones of them, they was the first to introduce the memory button on the keypad. Very rare, only ever seen a German spec one with a memory button on the keypad. On the re-release 2010 Xeon Bigtrak, they never had the memory function reinstalled on them. And only available in white. Again, V1 Bigtrak was available in American grey, which are very rare in the UK or rest of Europe, hardly seen outside of. So it's a nice one to add to your collection if you're in Europe. Alternatively for the Americans, the white one's a nice to add to your collection in the States. Or if you want the Junior, these are very rare as well in grey. They was designed for the American market. I believe they never made it. So that's a nice one for your American collection. And also there's the Russian versions. There's Blokjov and which is, I believe, is 3 versions of those. So that's your 8 versions of Bigtrak. That's without the accessories, which we could do on another video. Right, thank you guys. So I hope that helped you with the chronological order of the Bigtraks and how to collect them. Thanks and bye bye.